Welcome to Main Street Minds with your host, Amish Munshi. This is where industry leaders and seasoned pros share their secrets to success beyond limits. Let's dive in.
Hi, welcome to Main Street Minds. Today we have a very special guest, Viswanath, over here with us. He's working for Uber on data sciences. And without any further delay, I'll open up the floor. Vishwanath, can you introduce yourself and tell us what you're seeing in the industry and a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi. As we got introduced, my name is Viswanath Vankadaru. So I am in this industry from 20 years with a specialization of data engineering. My first job was data engineer, and today also I did couple of data engineering teams. So that is my area, and data itself evolved a lot like my age. Data was kind of a very small niche area, but today data is every part of the world. The more emphasis on Gen AI, the more emphasis on data indirectly, because any AI model, any ML machine learning model is as good as how you train it. So in today's world, with storage being cheap, with many cloud vendors being available, it is no more the problem of the collection of the data. It is the problem on how do you make utilize of the data. Every company spends out data. You look at a phone, you look at a website, you look at a Netflix audio, video show, there is data, everything what you do. Now, how do you make use of data is the problem. So there's actually a saying, if they are not selling a product to you, they are selling yourself. That means they are selling data about yourself. So that is the backbone of any industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So I totally understand. I think going back to the basics of computing, right? There is data and there is processing. So processing is where we are seeing the current buzzword more on the AI part, but all of that is obviously possible only when you have something real, something useful to process, right? So the data is practically almost, I would say 85% of everything that's needed. Bad data will just mean completely useless results.
Yeah, so in a common example, a simple example, 20 years ago, there is companies who used to spend a lot of money on advertising, TV ads and other things. But today, in today's world, it is all about, advertising on Instagram, advertising on WhatsApp or any other social media technology. So when you advertise on those channels, you also do some metrics on those channels. How am I converting those ads into revenue, or what kind of relevant ads are there? So it is no more a blind ad, where you are shown an advertisement which is not relevant to you. Now, the Netflix or even Amazon Prime is showing ads on it, but everything is like very relevant to what you are watching, what you are browsing, and everything. So, how do you make use of the data is a big challenge in itself, because we are collecting more and more data is coming from many other systems. So this is a and again, everything is changing with the AI coming into the picture. So I see this is a turning point in this world, and it is going to be getting better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us, how did your journey began? What did you learn? How did you get to where you are today?
Yeah. So again, back in the then back I mean, I started my career in 2003. So back in those days, before the advent of iPhone, before the advent of actually all the social media, data is being used only, not for marketing or anything. It is only used for with big banks, financial institutions, to study your transactional data. So that is they only use it for finance purposes or to store data, but they don't make really use of, what products to showcase, how do you better utilize that. So that is where that is where my journey has started. But thanks to Hadoop and other big data technologies, once they see the data is becoming cheaper, back there storage is not cheaper. It costs more money, so people used not to store most of the data. But with the big data coming into the picture, storage became cheaper. I mean, right? Earlier, we used to talk about megabytes. Now we talk about gigabytes, and even up to a terabyte, you can just put it in a small flash drive. So, storing terabytes and petabytes of data is becoming cheaper. So then they started collecting everything and anything. Now the next advent to it is, how do you make use of data? We have many technologies that came to parse this big data, etc. That is where the evolution started, and thankfully, I have been got all the opportunities to explore this journey. So I changed my career from I started in Visa, the big old bank, then moved to eBay, which is an e-commerce company. Again, then eBay, it's all about how do you bring more customers to Google search or through paid search or something else. And then Uber, it's like a big IPO company, pre-IPO company. It's a startup. So for them, they don't have they don't have this problem of legacy systems. Everything can start fresh. When you start everything fresh, you can explore what kind of tools are available in the market, and you use cutting edge technologies. So then, luckily, I was in the beginning of the journey. I was able to explore multiple technologies, see the side effects, pros and cons of everything, and bring proper technologies to Uber.
Perfect. Nice. So currently, like at Uber, like are you still doing more of the data related work still? Like are you leading? Are you doing more of the hands-on work, or are you like leading teams? Or the technology is obviously one part of it, right? Like what does your day-to-day actually involve now?
Yeah. So I'm at a juncture. Earlier, when company was small, we used to focus on each and everything. But in today's world, my domain is finance, and I don't individually code or contribute, but within finance, it's a big ecosystem, because what we report to Wall Street maybe it's different from what we report to our executives. What we report to executives may be different from what our data science uses. Anyone wants finance data, right? Like if you wanted to expand our business in some region, or if you wanted to know uh, if I wanted to explore to autonomous vehicles, am I going to make profit or am I going to make loss, because there's huge expense over there. So the models will be revolved around finance. So this much trips I make, this much orders I make, so this much money I spend in marketing, how much money I make. So for all this analysis, they need to know lot of ifs and whys, and they run through multiple scenarios. Big machine learning models run to see. That's how Uber is able to expand, right? Like, and Uber is able to fail fast. In some regions, we think that it is too early, and we move that. That is because we are able to forecast. Okay, when will we become cash flow positive? 5 years, 6 years, sometime. So basically, what I'm saying is our executives rely lot of decisions on the finance data, and those are the teams I lead, which will help in both external reporting and internal reporting, and it comes with a lot of responsibility, because there are big decisions made on the data we provide.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like if exactly like if the date sometimes the storing of the data may be good, but if you're not querying it the right way, or like not collecting the right info, then it's like it's useless, right?
Yeah.
So on
And again, that's where actually I'll go a little bit technical, but governance becomes very important, because as the company grows big, there will be too many systems producing the same data, or too many people providing the same models. So all this needs to be converged. Or for example, if you can ask me how much Uber is making, even for last month, there should be one answer, because it's only one answer. There's only one truth. It's like multiple people will query multiple tables or multiple data, and they cannot provide different answers. Governance is what is very important as a company grows big.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, on if somebody is entering a tech career and they want to make a career in data, what are some of the tools and technologies that they should be learning?
Yeah. So that's both, again, that's about opportunity and a challenge. So it's an opportunity because the space is huge, but at the same time, it's very challenge, because many tools are there. It's like, for example, if I put myself in a programming language, maybe if I know the core concepts of object oriented programming, which is Java or other things, it's very easy for other things to pick up. But data, when it comes to data, it is so huge that using Oracle or some SQL based database like Teradata is so different from using a NoSQL database like DynamoDB, and this is very different from if you are using some vendor provided tools like Databricks or other things. for any new technologist, I would first ask him to go through the breadth of the knowledge, because especially in the data world, we actually look at the design concepts, the modeling concepts, how, because if it is a tool specific, tomorrow the tool will change, and then your knowledge will be outdated. So you need to know the fundamental concepts of distributed systems or of data modeling, and breadth of the knowledge. As I told, like little bit of ML, how ML operations work, little bit of data science, how statistical model works. I feel a breadth of knowledge is more important for a data engineering than a depth of knowledge. Because once you enter into the company, depending on whatever the tech stack that company is, you will gain the depth of the knowledge. Now, starting fresh, you need to understand what to use when, and what are the tools available, pros and cons of everything.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Yeah. So on a at a very high level, like what are some of the qualities you look for in a person like who wants to make a career in data?
Yeah. Everything depends on what is the experience. If I talk about like someone who is from a college grad, I would look at him from a simple design point of view. Like, if, for example, if I say him, okay, design if you are having a Netflix kind of a service, what is the data that you collected? How do you make use of the data? How do you provide reports to your management? This data, like simple, right? Like in Netflix, you have a recommendation. The recommendation goes through by genre. What did you click? How much you spent time? So there is X number of metrics, and you don't need to be an expert technical guru to tell that. Like Instagram, like take any example. The relevancy is based on mining of the data. So we can throw an open-ended problem, ask him what he collects, and etc. The more experience you become, then it comes to the choice of the tools. Is one aspect. There is no run away from him. Even with the whatever code generation tools that AI provides, we need to know the coding, so that, because to understand what AI has written, it is very because AI can hallucinate, it cannot, it can write wrong code. So that is one part. The second part is, how do you evaluate different tools, right? Like for example, as I told, uh, we have native tools like Databricks, which needs data, the coding in terms of PySpark, or we can go with a simple SQL Server based tools. How do you decide which is good for your company? What is the scale, and what are the pros and cons? If you choose one thing, where maybe it will work for today, but does it scale for the next 10x? Uh, Obviously, when all these companies that we talked about, when they started, their volume is very less. When Netflix started, it was a DVD business. It never thought it will grow this big. Today, it has 1 billion users. So if you are able to scale that much, then you need to think beyond. So if you are a senior person, I would ask him to give a trade-off for every design choice he made. I'm a small company. I will do this in the interest of time to things deliver quickly. But for us to scale for the next 10 years, I would invest in this thing, because these provides so much consistency, durability, or there is so much we can talk about. So,
Yeah, makes sense. So without going into anything confidential, but like how does Uber go ahead and select, like there is just so much innovation potential within the driving space and within the delivery space and within all of that, and then there is this whole big huge AI wave that might just come in. Like how does a large established organization that still has so much innovation to do within its core competency, like how do they manage that, and like how do they not get distracted by AI?
so AI is not a distraction. AI is a productivity enhancement tool. Okay. So the sooner we accept the truth, the better it is. Even myself, I feel, sometimes I feel that, okay, this is becoming so simple that tomorrow it will take away my job. So rather than thinking like that and getting scared, it's like AI will help your productivity. So the thing, the of course there are some routine low level jobs, which may go away in future, but definitely for an engineer, AI is going to help him. As I told in one of an example, in olden days we used to do Google search on Google. You get multiple links. We need to trial and error. Now that time is there. You can just ask GitHub Copilot or anything, it will give a piece of code. But that piece of code is not copy paste. You cannot just copy paste the same code and execute it to run because it doesn't have the domain context. Your domain, your business, it's your business requirements and etc. So you can better code because you know the scenarios. For example, AI doesn't know I mean, of course you can guide the AI. That is also one of your jobs, saying that, okay, tune the model to run for X number of data, tune the model for efficiency or make it short or something. So for you to tune the model, you need to understand the code. So this is going to be like an assistant who will do your routine job, but at the end of the day, it is on your shoulder on how you finally productionize it, what kind of testing you will put it on it, and how do you think about end-to-end lineage and other things. Yeah. So in a company like Uber, to answer your question specifically, uh, I'm thankful that Uber gives that freedom for you to test and fail fast. So we have to test it. Of course, when we test, some things will work, some things don't work. So we already have a couple of Gen AI products within Uber. One of the Gen AI product we are investing in, how do we reduce our support cost? That is fundamentally for everyone. That is not in my area, but if you think about Uber, spend so much money for all these customer service agents across the globe. Like, how can we better automate it and reduce the support cost? Is one of the things that we are working on.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. So it's more of using AI to improve the core competencies and like how do we do it better from an operational perspective and organizational, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, end of the day, there are two aspects. One, internal productivity, whether whatever engineers, whatever our analyst, how can it improve our engineers' productivity? At the second point of it is like, if you are spending money on customer service, if you are spending money on insurance or some other getting some contracts, reviewing some vendor contracts, or all these support related costs, like when we venture into the new region, there is so much of government related work that we need to do. How can you automate all these processes and works which are like mundane and routine works? Whenever you see that, oh, I'm doing the same amount of work last week and this week, that means there is kind of AI to it. There can be some kind of AI to it.
Yeah. And like, do you see like a lot more of AI adoption within kind of doing the self-driving or replacing kind of the actual driver within like how far do you think this is? Like, I know Waymo is there a little bit, but how far are we from like using that everywhere?
Yeah, so that is I guess this is my personal opinion that we are at least a decade away from getting it to reality, because AVs will work only as good as it, like say, the regulations are there, the rules and regulations are followed within the few cities and where everyone follows the rules. But if you expand it to some rural areas or even to outside of US, like in India, like think about how difficult it is for autonomous because people don't follow rules. Any machine will work only if the rules are followed, right? Because it is programmed with certain rules. So if that is not there, it will be difficult. Even for example, even in SF, coming to the autonomous Waymo things, it can't make decisions instantly. Like if there is a Chinese lunar New Year happening over there, it make itself an instant decision to change the map. Pre-programmed with a certain efficiency, with a certain routing algorithm, then it will go like that. And if it can't figure out, it will just stop. So there is human in the loop that is always needed. Let's see where it goes.
Sure. Yeah. So, in addition to like what you did mention, like what are some of the other recommendations you might have for somebody coming in the tech industry, not from a technology perspective, but from like a mindset perspective? It like if somebody is looking for a 10, 20, 30-year long career in tech, what like what should they be open to? Like, should they specialize on one thing? Should they be open to like how quickly should they be like thinking about, because technology's changed, right? How do you approach, like your personal opinion, like how do you approach saying, I think I've been doing this for too long, like we do something new? Like how do you approach that yourself, and how would you advise others to to do that
Yeah, see, technology has both pros and cons. One, whether we agree or not, technology is high paid jobs among every other job. So what it is attracting for every individual, no matter, there are many people who do civil engineering, mechanical engineering, then shift to technology because there are more jobs, more opportunities, etc. But that is the the gory part of it. The bad part of it, there is, or bad or whatever, how you see it, is there is always constant learning. Many of the jobs, after some time, you know what is expected of your job, uh, whether it is construction, whether it is even to some extent doctors or something. You know what your expectations are, and you are going to use whatever that you learned in your undergrad to your job. But technically, your undergrad knowledge or the whatever your theoretical knowledge will only help you maybe for the first few years, because on it will change. So it's a constant learning. As long as you are in this industry, no matter what role, whether you are a leader, whether you are an IC, technologies keep changing. There is new open source commit technologies that keep coming, and you have to be constantly learning throughout your career till you retire. That you have to be up for that job. And technology is more global. We saw that with COVID coming into the picture, every company that I talk, they have teams in like India, they have teams in Europe, they have teams in like even South America is coming. So at some point, you are actually working around the clock. Now evening meetings, you have night meetings. Wife is a doctor. She complains there is too much work. She is too much work, but her job is 9 to 5. Once she comes, there is no laptop that she opens. So if you are starting in the great way, as I told, right, like money is the one that attracts you, but you need to also understand the challenges that you have to be constantly learning. You have to sometimes run throughout the clock, and uh, your responsibilities are much wider. You know, as you grow big in the career, your responsibilities are much wider, become much wider.
Sure. Yeah, and I think the right opportunities will show up as well, right? Most fortunately, most of the organizations I've worked with were pretty open on career development. Most of them will provide you with more opportunities, and when the timing is right, and you see something that's of interest, feel free to like explore it and like be open to change when something comes.
Yes, that's my point. That you have to be constantly learning. It has to be bidirectional. You have to show that interest that yes, I wanted to take a risk and I wanted to learn this thing or learn or improve my career, and then the company will invest you. I don't think any company with it comes with certain limitations. You cannot just say that I will leave my current responsibility and I will just work on this Gen A. We have both delivered on that. That's why in Uber we have something called engineering excellence. Apart from all our day-to-day responsibilities as an engineer, how do you want to excel? You may need to revamp your existing code with a new technology, or you may say that I will see Gen A can rewrite this part of service or this part of the code to do it better. So 20% of the time is always allocated to look back on what are the things that you do and how do you make it better.
Yeah, makes sense. So, where do you see the world in like in let's say bit 5 and 10 years from now? Like, what do you think is the world is going to look like from technical engineering perspective?
Yeah. See, so I was hearing uh, some conversations saying that this is how before the advent of Microsoft Office came. Like when Microsoft Office came, after a simple tool like Excel, it eliminated a lot of the paperwork we used to do. I'm talking about 90s. Like Excel is just one tool, but today if you look at it, even many companies, because it is so easy to use, they first do it in Excel before they make fancy sheets or fancy fancy reports. They put it in an Excel because it's so easy to do all your calculations and everything. So AI is going to be like that. So the routine tasks that you do, which may be as simple as I have X number of classes for my kids. Pull up, just make a calendar. Just make a calendar. Look at my email. Look at my all my classes for my kids and make a calendar out of it. So all the tasks, or I was also saying this is again this like there used to be travel companies who were for big people who they used to do this travel planning and all those things. that can be automated. Like my wife is a doctor; she has an executive assistant, medical assistant who does her paperwork and everything. But I'm sure at some point, this paperwork, these kind of things will be done by AI. So there will be a ton of people who will be building different AI models and across the industry, insurance, medical, construction, like engineers like us will take this particular, problem area and see what you can automate it. As I told, if there's any task which is repetitive, which I am doing week over week, day over day, I mean, the task that means that it's automated. So in the technology evaluation, the models will become more and more human. The models will evolve into different areas which have been untouched. And in the consumer area, the all these tasks which are done by some analysts, some apprentice internships, or all these things, these will be automated.
Right. Right. Makes sense. Yeah. So apart from that, like, how is what do you like to do outside of work? Like, do you have kids? Do you have you did mention about your wife, but you also have kids, and do you like what do you do outside of work?
Yeah, see, so I have two kids. Both are younger. One is 10-year-old and one is 7-year-old. So I was telling you, right? Like if I imagine my wife also in some big IT company like Meta or Google, both of us will be sitting in the evening, going through meetings and everything. Then who's going to give them the food? Work-life balance is becoming more and more challenge as the companies become global. There's no fixed time on whenever they will start and whenever they will end.
Yeah.
No, I felt it very challenging, but it also because of my personal situation that my wife is a 9 to 5 job and I am in this job. So it comes both advantages. For her, 9 to 5 she cannot go out. If the kids have some important meeting in the school, I will take it. But at the same time, after 5 she doesn't have work. So it's a good balance. So when you choose your career, think about both the situations, not how it is. Yeah. So
Think so. What you recommend? What you're saying is tech does provide a little more flexibility, but that also means like flexibility from both ways, right? It's not like only the employee is getting the flexibility of working hours. It's both ways. The employer or the company is also expecting, say, there is some small little work. Let's meet up with somebody else across the
yeah, you have to adapt to this new life. For example, Friday afternoon, I cater time to myself. Like I wanted to learn something new. I blocked my calendar for Friday between 2 to 4 p.m. and I just wanted to learn something new. Or there may be some personal works which I don't have time to do. Some doctor appointment or some my car repair or something. So that's the flexibility. But at the same time, Monday to Thursday, every day I have night meetings, like night meetings, early morning meetings.
Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Sounds perfect. Yeah. So, do you generally like travel? Like, how often do you go out?
Yeah. Actually, this is one thing we have been, making a constant attempt, to travel because it's like you have to travel when the time is right. Like everyone will postpone travel, saying that I will travel after 55 years, after my kids go to college and other things. But I would say never postpone the travel travel part. In the year, in 12 months, I would say take at least 2 to 3 weeks off. And I mean, I'm very much interested in travel to all the parts of the world. So we have been traveling from all the way from Africa to some places in India like Bhutan and Indonesia and all those places. So pick one country every 1 year and travel and explore because you learn a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah. What's one of your favorite places?
Yeah, Kenya is one of the most favorite places actually. That is, I feel it's very less explored. We went to Masai Mara. So that's actually sometimes I wonder when I travel this place. We talk about so much of AI and all the technology innovations and everything. You travel outside of Silicon Valley, you will see a different world. And when you go to Kenya and other things, it hasn't reached. It's like it's very 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 far short. So I was like, what going to happen in future? I mean, I have to see how technology actually reaches the remote part. Like, I mean, the Starlink is one good idea where it is going to all the remote parts, providing the internet, and it opens up. But yeah, it hasn't reached the way it was supposed to reach. Like, I was when I went to Hawaii, even in Hawaii, I was going to Big Island, and there are places where there is no internet connection. I'm not talking about place where there is no humanity. I'm talking about some small villages where there are like 200-300 people, and internet is not there. And this is in America, in one of the US state, it's Hawaii. And then think about how, and this is something, the government and all the billionaires has to see how can they make sure the technology reaches the remote parts. But anyways, coming to Kenya, it is very good. The wildlife is very good. We went during the Great Migration. All the big five animals, they migrate from Tanzania to Kenya. So we saw like I would say at least 100,000 on in that scale. The animals just migrate from one area to another area. So from the helicopter, you actually see the Great Migration.
Is it mostly like cows and buffaloes, or like all the animals, like horses?
Only has big five. It is zebra is what there. It's not actually. It's not. It's kind of in that breed, but I forgot the name. It's called. It looks like a buffalo, but it's not a buffalo.
Yeah.
And zebras are very common, and there is some other things.
So that's one of the places I want to visit. Maybe hopefully this year or next year, I'll make it there. Cool. So coming back to like tech, are there any like final recommendations that you would like to share with somebody who's just getting started in the industry? Is like e- what ratio of jobs do you see like within data versus outside, right? Like, is data still relevant? Obviously, we did start off with saying yes, it is, but like just how relevant it is today, how relevant it will be in future, and if somebody's coming in the industry, like where should they be?
Yeah. So I feel more and more the people are expecting him to be an all-rounder. You become deep, you go deep, but that is after coming a job. But when you are starting a job, they expect you to be all-rounder. So when you say data, it is always good to have data plus some ML model experience. And you do data engineering, you build data warehouse and other things. Then you also say that, yes, I use this data to prepare this ML model to do recommendation. In Uber Eats, we use the recommendation of the restaurants. Or we actually, because it's financial data, we forecast, all the financial metrics we forecast. Okay, next 16 months, based on the past data, this is how we are forecasting how much money we are making, etc., etc. So likewise, what I'm saying is don't stick within one data engineering. Data engineering plus ML, data engineering plus data science, or data engineering plus some kind of BI reporting work is always good. You need to have breadth of knowledge. And even when it's coding, there were days when you are only a UI developer, or you're only a backend developer. But now everyone is looking for a full stack developer. You don't need to be an expert of full stack developer, but you need to know little bit of UI, little bit of middleware, little bit of backend, everything. And that is one piece of advice. Second piece of advice is, I always tell, don't look at only the money part, the revenue part of it. Look at whether that interests you or not. Because if you don't have that interest, after 5 years, after 6 years, when you are good amount here, when your financial stability becomes more and more, then you lose interest in this job. So for young engineers, you have to be interested in technology, interested in coding, interested in continuous learning. Then only go for it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So because back when I was growing up, I am not even aware of different kinds of job market that are available. We are growing up in India, we always have been brainwashed saying that, okay, there is an engineering or doctor. We haven't explored, other areas. But now for new generations, it's like whether it's in India or it is here, people are more adapted to, okay, if you wanted to do career in acting, go ahead. We are okay. It's like we are no more studying, most of the people, no more studying for career, money, or other things. So whatever that passion is, do the passion. Because technology, for technology, I know people who came back to this technology at 40 years of age. Like my own sister, she was in construction, and after 35, she decided that, I wanted to shift my career for whatever reasons. So technology, you can shift to any time. But if you want to explore something new, explore when you're young. And if you're done with it, come back to technology. It's always open.
Yeah, that's a big secret and a very good tip for anyone listening. So thanks for sharing that. So what's the best way that somebody can reach you?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn is always open. People can reach out. I also take classes through Interview Kickstart by on both engineering leadership and on the data engineering side. So if you're interested, you can sign up through Interview Kickstart or reach out to me on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great thing. Like tell us a little bit more about Interview Kickstart. Like I didn't know about that.
Yeah, Interview Kickstart, it's actually a very good program. They train anyone who is interested. As I told, it doesn't mean only college freshers. If you wanted to shift your career, anyone can learn programming language. It's just a matter of time. One person will take 1 month, other person will take 3 months. So Interview Kickstart, I'm just not, it's not my company. I don't have anything. I'm just an instructor enrolled for Interview Kickstart. But they have a good courses on programming. They have very stressful, intensive programs. People can sign up to do the algorithmic coding, because most of the interviews in any big companies, they are generalized. Build an algorithm for bubble sort, build an algorithm for building a binary tree. They're very, very general, nothing related to anything. So this program will train you your coding skills. You are also how to not just write code, but write an efficient code and how to crack the interviews. And they have some branches for machine learning, for data engineering, for leadership, all those things. So I encourage everyone to they have a free demo session. You can look for a demo. If you like it, you can take it likewise. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Sounds great. Thanks. Thanks for joining today on a busy Thursday. Thanks for taking time during working hours to like come on the show and like share very valuable insights today. Thanks, Vishwanath.
Thank you, Amish. It's nice meeting you. I hope it will be useful for some people.
It is. Thanks.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Main Street Minds. Want to share your journey with our audience? Head over to mainstreetmindspodcast.com/guest to apply.